Thank you so much. Shifting focus to something that has shocked one and all. Air India's takeover by the Tata Group was seen as a major push to modernize the national carrier. But the Maharaja is facing a PR disaster with 2 incidents of passengers urinating in business class with zero consequences. What happened on November 26th last year on an Air India flight from New York to Delhi has shocked everyone. A man in business class walks up to an elderly woman, exposes himself, and then urinates on her. But the ordeal did not end there. The crew, after initially dismissing the case, went on to hand a pair of pajamas and slippers to the elderly woman and asked her to return to the soiled seat. On arrival, the elderly woman was left to fend for herself, and the man, now identified as Shekhar, walked scot-free. The airline acted on the 4th of November, 8 days after the incident, by putting the passenger on a 30-day ban. That's it, just 30-day ban on Air India. What about other flights? He can continue to misbehave with other passengers on other flights, other aircrafts. Now another case emerged from a Paris to Delhi flight in December, where a man urinated on a woman's blanket. The woman filed a complaint, but the man was let off after a mutual compromise. Now the Delhi police is questioning 2 Air India crew members who were aboard the New York to Delhi flight, while the DGCA has issued a notice to Air India seeking a reply in 2 weeks, calling the carrier's conduct unprofessional, in violation of procedures, asking why shouldn't action be taken of dereliction of duty. The question remains, why wasn't immediate action taken against these individuals? Was Air India trying to cover up these cases? Are high and mighty individuals being protected? Is it time for an immediate no-fly list for such a shocking behavior? Is DG Aviation Safety India, and we are also being joined by Captain Amit Singh. He's the founder, Safety Matters, and former head of Airlines Operation and Safety. I'm going to begin with you, B.S. Sivach. Would you say that Air India is trying to cover up these cases? First, they have not acted, and all that they have done is 30-day ban on this crazy man?
Definitely, Air India had its own reputation, would have sullied if they had exposed this case or taken it up, informed to the regulator.
But isn't their reputation being sullied even more now because of lack of action?
Yeah, now definitely but they did not realize they're short-sighted. They never knew that this is going to happen to them. They thought that the victim will remain quiet and there will be no flare-up. But unfortunately, now things have gone out of their hand due to the courtesy, the media, which has rightly stepped in. It is most outrageous, appalling, shocking, tragic incident, absolutely unacceptable. And for such incidents, there should be zero tolerance. The person should be brought to the book. And so unfortunate, immediately after that, about a week after that,
it happens again.
In Delhi flight, also similar kind of incident took place, and that was also hushed up. This is not really sort of, done thing. It brings totally bad reputation to the country, bad reputation to airline. We expected that Air India, after being handed over to Tata.
Yes, it will function in a professional manner. It is not functioning in a professional manner. Captain Singh,
it is not.
Captain Singh, do you think this man should be put on the no-fly list and perhaps even arrested for this shocking behavior?
Of course, the two aspects. One is the civil aviation laws, other are the civil laws or the criminal laws.
Yes.
So an FIR needs to be lodged and the person has to be brought to book, which means arrested, put behind bars. In the United States, people have been put behind bars for up to 9 years for in-flight sexual harassment. There, they have seen a jump of almost 2 times from 2014 to 17, and they have come up with regulations wherein the airline is also responsible for the good order and conduct and for uh, the safety of the passengers on board. It is not just the crew
Yes.
whose job it is. It is the airline, after all, which is responsible, overall responsible. So they have to be, the accountable manager has to be pulled up,
Yes.
and the person has to
Captain
be
Singh,
called up. And
here the Air
why
India
this is
and the
happening
crew that is there on board, all that they did was that they told that woman, an elderly woman, that you have to go back to the soiled seat. We have just cleaned it up, and they did nothing. They did not
why
even.
this is happening
Yes, please go
is
ahead.
because of the culture. 2018, similar incident happened. It was hushed up. In 2022, 2 incidents have happened, and all 3 people have gone away from the airport scot-free. So the crew, the culture, the reporting culture, and the safety culture of the airline is such that better to hide things rather than report honestly and make it a big issue. So this time also they tried to do the same, but unfortunately, because of the media, uh, it was brought out, and the airline, unfortunately,
Would you
still
say that
hasn't
this has to do with the
apologized.
business class? Because, people who travel in the business class, and given the kind of money that they would be paying for this long distance flight, it would be of people who would fall in the category of being high and mighty. So they are being protected.
Of course, that is there. And from the service point of view, there are no limits in business class and first class.
Yes.
There is protocol of alcohol serving on a short haul, long haul flight for economy class, but for business class, if you
Yes.
look at the Air India website, for first class, the picture which is shown is a cabin crew offering a bottle of wine to a passenger. So then they boast about their the alcohol they serve on board, but there are no limits.
There's no
So
limit.
it is on the crew training, which is important. They need to identify a person, but if you want to bend over backwards to please a passenger for whatever reason, might be high
But
and mighty.
there is another
this is
passenger
outcome consequences.
who has paid the same amount, and she has suffered the way she has. B.S. Sivaj, would you say that the time has come to implement the air marshal system, where security officers apprehend such individuals in mid-air flights?
Now, for such cases, there is no air marshal as such required. Air marshals are required for anti-hijacking operation, etc. For this, the crew is quite competent, capable. If they do their job sincerely and seriously, then there is absolutely no problem. So it is the fault lies with the crew members, and the captain also should have intervened. But again, trying to protect the reputation of the airline, everybody tried to hush it up in the interest of airline. They don't realize how much traumatized they have. Traumatization has been caused to the passenger. That is very unfortunate part, and they had no shown any sympathy, no empathy toward the passenger who was also a business class passenger, and a lady, 70 years old,
Yes.
a very senior citizen.
Yes.
So how can you do such a thing and get away with it? Then no question of any kind of, sort of sorting out the issue or reaching out to a agreement or something, mutual consent. There's no such thing. These things they cannot be overlooked, cannot be glossed over. They must be reported. Action must be taken. That person should have been arrested the moment he landed at the airport and taken to task. FIR should have been there, filed against him, and he should have been put behind bars.
What can be done now? What can be done now, Captain Amit Singh? What can be done now? After the hush
Now,
up,
DGCA is empowered
yes.
by an act passed in the parliament to take penal action, judicial action, and of course the police has registered an FIR. So now, apart from the person being taken into custody, the airline has to be held accountable.
Okay.
So why did this incident happen, and why was, because airline is also culpable. They have not reported and tried to hide facts, maybe destroy evidence. So the evidence on board has been destroyed. It is a scene of crime or sexual assault.
All right.
So these actions are basically they are accomplice to the crime.
All right.
So they have to be taken to task. Not even an apology has been tendered by
Absolutely.
Air
No
India.
apology
An
by
apology
Air
is
India.
nothing about-
That is the minimum thing that they should have done. Captain Singh and B.S. Sivaj, thank you so much for joining us. This remains out of focus tomorrow as well on CNN News 18. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.